real men at? I'm sick of it. They don't make men like they used to. I'm gonna say it loud and proud.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not
Men don't go after women anymore nowadays. And part of the reason is that it's just become so hard because we women have become so demanding.
For the good men, where are they? I keep seeing that video. They're hiding.
I'm gonna say it, and you're not gonna like what I have to say. You're not gonna like it, men. You're not gonna like it. Where are the real men at? I'm sick of it. They don't make men like they used to. I'm gonna say it loud and proud. Because tell me why men these days, they don't want to do an oil change. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to do anything. If Google doesn't know, babe, they don't know. Tell me why.
Real men didn't disappear. They just stopped showing up for people who don't value them. You want a man who can build, fix, lead. But modern society teaches him he's toxic for doing exactly that, so he checks out. Not because he can't, but because he no longer gets respect in return.
My dad knows every single thing to do with his hands. I could ask my dad to literally build a bridge for me to get to the other side of the road. That man will do it within 1 hour. You ask a man this day and age, hey, can you tell me how to check my tyre pressure? Yeah, let me Google that. What do you mean you have to Google it? What do you mean you have to Google it, man? What do you mean? You are a man. This is what you're built for, babe. This is what you're built for, and you don't even know how to check my tyre pressure. Please. I'm sick of having men that don't know how to literally use their hands. I'm sick of it. Be a man!
Shut up.
You compare today's men to your father. A man who likely had a loyal wife, a functional household, and a reason to lead. That trade-off is gone. So the motivation is too. Men adapt to incentives. When there's no reward for being a builder, they stop building. It's not that men are broken, it's that the deal has changed.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore or don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first.
Men stopped chasing when they realized they were no longer valued for doing it. In your parents' era, men pursued women who offered loyalty, respect, and long-term commitment. Today, men are expected to put in maximum effort for women who often bring attitude, entitlement, and backup options in their DMs. You want old-school men without being old-school women. You want poetry and persistence, but still post thirst traps and say, I don't need a man. And now you wonder why men have checked out. It's not that they don't care. It's that the incentive structure has collapsed. When relationships no longer offer stability, trust, or peace, men stop investing. They adapt to the new rules. And the new rule is, chase less, protect yourself more. This isn't the downfall of men. It's the natural consequence of a system where effort is no longer rewarded.
Men don't go after women anymore nowadays, and part of the reason is that it's just become so hard because we women have become so demanding. Not that long ago, a marriage was seen as an economical agreement, and the husband was expected to provide for his family and to protect his family. But in those days, we women were still financially dependent on men. But now that we make our own money, we don't just want a husband to be a provider or to protect us, but we want a husband who can really understand us, who can feel us emotionally, and who can help in the household, and wait a minute, who can also be a very good father to our kids. But it's not just because we're financially independent that we have these expectations. It's also that society, the way it's set up, has changed completely. We used to live in a society in which we had a whole support system around us. We would have barbecues with the neighbor on the corner every Sunday. We would drink coffees with our neighbor every morning, and we would discuss our problems. But nowadays, because we also work, we live way more isolated, and the time we have off, we spend more and more with this one person who's our husband.
She's not wrong. She's just late. Men didn't stop pursuing women out of laziness. They stopped because the cost of pursuit skyrocketed, while the return on investment disappeared. You used to need to provide and protect. Now, you need to do that plus be emotionally available. A therapist, a feminist, a co-parent, a housekeeper, and still plan romantic picnics while she's scrolling TikTok. And when a man says, "That's too much," he's labeled weak. Or worse, emotionally unavailable. Relationships used to be built on mutual need. Now they're built on infinite expectations and Netflix fantasies. She says, "We just want more now." But men have realized, giving more only leads to being taken for granted, not respected. So they step back, not because they're afraid of women, but because they're tired of being expected to perform, while getting very little peace in return. This isn't a crisis of masculinity. It's a crisis of incentives.
Where are the good men? Where are they? I keep seeing that video. They're hiding. All of your videos of, screaming and saying how much you hate men and your icks because I don't know they breathe. They just decided they're going to be hiding for a while. They're done. They're taking a vacation from women. They're probably at home. If they're not at work, they're at home. And they're just watching TikToks of women horrified, being very, very happy that they made their choice to just be single and choose peace over crazy toxicity. Oh, and where are the good women? They're at home too. Yeah, they're at home looking like this. And all the other girls, they're out at the club, they're at the bar, dating the same 6'3" guy that's probably texting all of them. He has multiple girlfriends, and all the good people, we're at home on Reddit, probably going down a deep rabbit hole we shouldn't, scaring ourselves about the world, and just scrolling through our phones looking like
They're gone. Not because they don't exist, but because they've seen enough to stop showing up. You can only demonize men, mock masculinity, and celebrate independence for so long before men realize the game isn't worth playing. They're not out at bars. They're not chasing validation. They're choosing peace and watching from a distance as the same women who rejected them now ask where they've gone. This isn't a mystery. It's a consequence. When loyalty is rare, respect is conditional, and attention is weaponized, men disengage, and the ones who still care, they're home, quiet, anonymous, observing, not bitter, just done. If this message made sense to you, like the video. Subscribe for more unfiltered logic. Emotions fade. Algorithms don't. Let them know you're still thinking.